Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, thanking each and every one of you guys for coming back and joining me here once again in the theater. You know, Vince Gill and Trisha Yearwood once said, "For each and every bell that rings, another angel gets his wings. So show you care and share your light and help an angel fly tonight. Because it's a wonderful life. You may think that was a slip up, but with today's film, I can assure you that it wasn't. Now, today's film is entitled It's a Wonderful Knife, and it was a Shudder original, written by Michael Kennedy, directed by Tyler McIntyre, and it stars Jane Widdop, Joel McHale, Jess McLeod, Catherine Isabel, and Justin Long. Our movie takes place in the town of Angel Falls, where teenager Winnie Carruthers, played by Jane Widdop, is celebrating the Christmas season with her family. Suddenly, her father David, played by Joel McHale, is called away by his business partner, Henry Waters, the CEO of Waters Industry, played by Justin Long. With David in tow, Henry attempts to persuade longtime local resident Roger Evans, played by William B. Davis, to sign off on his house so it can be demolished in order to make room for a massive shopping mall. Now, Roger refuses, as he intends to pass the house on to his granddaughter, Cara, who's played by Hannah Huggins, and is Winnie's best friend. Later on that evening, a masked assailant known as the Angel kills Roger in his home. At a party that evening, the Angel strikes again and murders Cara and nearly kills Winnie's brother, Jimmy, played by Aiden Howard. But Winnie electrocutes the killer to death. She then unmasks the Angel, who turns out to be Henry. 1 year later, David is now the CEO of Waters Industries. Winnie is still grieving Kara's death while her family has seemingly moved on from the year's previous events. She attends a Christmas party at her boyfriend Robbie's house, where she befriends a social outcast named Bernie, played by Jess McLeod, before discovering that Robbie, played by Jason Fernandez, has been cheating on her with her friend Darla, played by Xenia Marshall, for over a year. Distraught, Winnie goes alone to a bridge, and while looking up at the aurora lights in the sky, wishes that she had never been born. Suddenly, the aurora disappears, and the town's power briefly goes out before coming back on. When the power returns, the angel briefly chases Winnie, and she learns that the town's sheriff is now Henry's younger brother, Buck, played by Sean Deppner, who claims that he does not recognize her. She is then greeted by Henry, who is now the town mayor. Winnie goes to see her family, who also does not recognize her, and she realizes that she has been transported to an alternate reality in which she never existed, which means that the angel is still alive and has already killed several more people since the previous year, including Jimmy. Upset, Winnie goes to Robbie's Christmas party, and she encounters Bernie and explains her plight to her, despite her mild disbelief. After narrowly escaping the angel, Bernie and Winnie deduce that the angel has been targeting the teenage children of homeowners whose properties Henry wanted to acquire. Winnie decides that she needs her father's help to stop Henry and kill him again, and successfully convinces her Aunt Gail, played by Catherine Isabel, of the situation. Winnie tries to convince her father that Henry killed Jimmy, but David refuses to listen to her and demands that she leaves. On her way out, Winnie witnesses the killer murdering her mother, played by Erin Boyes. The angel then tries to attack Winnie, Bernie, and Gail, but gets knocked out. Winnie unmasks the killer, shocked to find David behind the mask. David regains consciousness, and the trio flee. Winnie, Bernie, and Gail then kill David after luring him to the movie theater where Bernie works. As Winnie and Bernie return to the bridge under the aurora lights, Bernie reveals that she was contemplating suicide, and Winnie saved her. Winnie proceeds to wish that she was born after all, but nothing happens. She realizes that Henry still poses a danger to the town as the mayor, and that he needs to die again before Winnie can return to her original timeline. Winnie and Bernie come across a rally that is being hosted by Henry, where all the attendees appear to be in a trance of some sort. The two confront him, and they accuse him of the deaths of the past year. Henry confirms that he killed Jimmy, and in doing so, broke David's spirit and placed him under his control, making him his accomplice. When Henry attacks Winnie, Bernie stabs him to death, which breaks his control over all the townspeople. The aurora reappears, and Winnie and Bernie kiss. Winnie then transports back to her own timeline and wakes up in her bedroom on Christmas morning. She cheerfully greets her family, and her parents apologize for not allowing her to process her trauma. Winnie then rushes over to Bernie's house, but Bernie reveals that she still has her memories of their time together in the alternate reality, and they hug before agreeing to celebrate Christmas together, and our movie comes to its close. Now, this past week, I've told you guys I love Christmas and I love horror movies. And now that I'm older and can appreciate it more, I love It's a Wonderful Life. As a kid, I couldn't sit through it. It was long, dry, and boring. However, as a grown-up with a child of his own, and 4 more that I've more or less adopted via my relationship, It's a Wonderful Life hits me in the feels every time I see it. Now, while this is most definitely a horror spin on the formula, a lot of the same beats are here. The film was decent, but it definitely had its rough moments as well. There were a few points during the movie where I was becoming uninterested before something would happen and pull me right back in. Over the last few weeks, you all know that I've discussed on multiple occasions how Christmas movies get held to a different standard and why that is. The fact that they're formulaic, even more so than a traditional romantic comedy, and how, for me, Christmas movies come down to one simple thing. Was I entertained? We've discussed multiple times now how the plots are void of depth because they want you to believe in the impossible. They want you to believe in the spirit of the Christmas miracle, which, for the record, I do. There's exceptions, rare cases where Christmas movie scripts do possess that depth. And in those occasions, you found a true gem. Now, while It's a Wonderful Life does possess that depth, this version does not. And it's definitely not a gem by any definition. That being said, doesn't prevent it from being a decent film. As honestly, I'm not sure what I would have done to improve upon this movie. The only thing I can really think of, and it's just nitpicking, is I would have replaced Justin Long, as I'm not a huge fan of his. When it comes to my rating, I give this film 2.5 stars. But tell me, what do you guys think of It's a Wonderful Life? Have you seen it before? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that discourse, that interaction, those engagements that I'm always trying to get from you, my loyal viewers. And as always, until next time, when we return to the theater for another brand new episode of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel, I have been your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking each and every one of you guys for joining me and tuning in. And I will catch you guys next time.